Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what to do if you're trying to get your animation out of a program like Photoshop. You could also be looking at any other animation program that, where you're working kind of to get the images kind of in sequence and you're trying to export them out and then you want to use them in like Premiere or a video editing program. Sometimes it's really easy. You can just go in and just render the video out and it'll just take whatever you're seeing in your animation sort of on the screen in that program and it'll render it out as a video as you have asked it to do. But there are lots of times where there are problems where the video program won't accept that, or where you're having problems with like say Photoshop crashing or just something like that. So again, a normal way to do this would be just to go, if you're in your animation, and if this is my animation here with a stop motion with lots of photos stacked up, this can also really help if you have a really big sequence of photos that you're trying to bring in and you don't want to even deal with Photoshop or some other program. You just want to drag them straight into like Adobe Premiere. But the point is you have to get all those frames out in sequence somehow so you can move on to the next step. So what we would want to do is, if normally we could just go up here and go file in Photoshop, file, and then go to export, and then just go to render video, right? And if we go into render video, we're going to have this button, this stuff all set up, and we can render it out and it'll all work. But sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it crashes. There's too many pieces and parts in your video. There's lots of things that can happen. So what you should do in that case is just always remember that all these programs that are animation programs, Procreate Dreams, Procreate, any of the Flip Boom kinds of things, all that stuff, they're going to probably have some setting that will allow you to render out your video, your animation in frames, right? So in Photoshop, again, we would just go in here and we just go File, again, Export, and then go to Render the Video. And we, instead of choosing Adobe Media Encoder, we want to do a Photoshop image sequence. That's going to take each frame of my video and it's going to kick it out just as a still static JPEG image. So you're going to have, you can have 1,000 images, maybe if you have a really long animation. So, and you just want to choose your format. I mean, I would just choose something like a JPEG, just to keep it simple. You could do a PNG if you want a clear, transparent background, maybe. And the thing to really pay attention to here is where you're putting it. So you want to select a folder. You'd go to your desktop here. And then I always make a brand new folder for this just because it will, there's going to be a lot of images just sit on your desktop or wherever you put them. So you say choose. And then the thing to really watch out for is what frame rate are you exporting your animation out at. You probably have your animation set up at something that's not 30 frames a second because that's a lot of drawing. Most of the time people do 12, but you should know what you're doing at this point before you export it out. So if I do all of those things, it's going to just kick it out as a image sequence. I can tell it what numbering system to use, but it's going to number them in order, which is exactly what we want. And we can click render.